We are gathered here to fill you with This is a story of the sounds of horror. This is going to be more audio than visual. So just sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the torture. Discretion is advised if you decide to continue this journey. We open with a blood-curdling scream. A young woman is running away from a chainsaw-wielding serial killer. She looks to be about 18. She runs into an abandoned, old, dilapidated house. She quickly closes the door, pushing an object up against it to keep the killer out. She finds herself alone in this creepy, rundown home. It looks like no one has lived here for years. She is tired, cold, scared, in tears, and shaking in fear. Every step she takes on the floorboard, creak, crack, and snap. But she knows she needs to move to somewhere she can feel safe. It's really dark. She can't see her hand in front of her face. She knows she needs to find a light source to help her find her way. She makes it to the kitchen, where she finds a flashlight. She felt really lucky to find it, and with a click, it came on. It worked, and the beam was good and bright. Now, she can explore and try to find a way to escape. She knew if she ran into the killer, her life would be at stake. So quietly, she makes her way around, doing her best not to make any loud sounds. She doesn't want to alert the killer to her whereabouts. She walked up a set of stairs to the second floor, where she found some bedrooms. There were 4. The smell was unbearable. It made her want to gag and hurl. That's when she noticed in one of the rooms, in the bed, there was a corpse. She screeched, but she stopped herself from screaming. She didn't want to give her position away. If she did, she knew this would be her ending. She slowly backs up to leave, but she bumps a table with a lamp. She tried to catch it, but she missed, and it hit the floor with a big crash. She knew this was her ass. All of a sudden, she could hear him coming, running up the stairs, with his chainsaw revving loud in his hands. She ran to another bedroom to hide. She decided to hide under the bed. For the moment, this would save her life. She could hear him throwing furniture about in the next room. He is searching really hard for her. But she stays quiet because she knows if he found her, it would be her doom. In frustration, he lets out a guttural howl. She can tell he is really pissed off now. He runs out into the hallway, looking to his left and to his right, trying to figure out where she is hiding. He can't let her get away and lose her. No, not tonight. He chooses her room to search through. She prays he doesn't look under the bed. He searches around a little bit. Then she feels a hand grab her by her head. He said, "I found you," as he drags her out by her hair. She flings about trying to break free. She screams out, "Spare me!" He laughed as he brought her up to his eye level. She swears in his eyes, you can see the devil. He laughed and said, "Tonight, you're going to die." But she thinks quickly, and she uses the flashlight to beam the light into his eyes. He released her, and she hit the floor. She doesn't care about the pain. She runs fast to the door. The killer gives chase as they both run down the stairs. Suddenly, she steps on a weak step, and she falls through to the basement, breaking one of her legs. She is in a lot of pain. It hurts badly. She starts to cry. But she is glad she is still alive. This is when she realizes she doesn't have much time. He is coming, and he wants to rip out her spine. She examines her broken leg, and she sees the bone protruding through her jeans. She doesn't have the time to freak out. She needs to push it back into place. She hopes she doesn't pass out from the pain. She bears down and pushes it back in place. She can feel herself about to faint. But she is strong, and she makes it through, because she knows she has to. She is smart and knows she needs to move. She tears off a piece of her jeans and ties it around her leg tight to keep the bone in place. Then she gets up and drags herself with haste. But what she didn't know, she played right into his hands. Because she was in his lair, he led her there. She makes her way through the narrow halls as she supports herself up against the walls. Suddenly, she hears dripping, noticing a metallic and copper smell. It makes her eyes tear up and swell. At the end of the hallway, she comes upon a room, and what she sees there fills her with dread and doom. There are bodies and body parts all over the room, covering the floor, hanging from the ceiling, pinned to the walls. She'd never seen anything like this before. She believes she has died and went to hell when she fell. But this is not the case. She starts to believe this is going to be her fate. Then he walks in and closes the heavy metal door. She knows this is her end for sure. He puts down the chainsaw and he grabs an axe. He says he wants to hack her up till there is nothing left. She looked around for a weapon to protect herself. She grabbed a body part from the floor, hoping it would help. Suddenly, he rushed her, and as he swung his axe, this began his aggressive attack. They both start to slip and slide in the blood on the floor. She was having a hard time standing because of her leg. It was taking all of her will to keep going. She did her best to stay away from him and to protect her own limbs. He trapped her. She was backed into a corner. She thought it was over. She knew she had to end this for good. It was her or him. This she understood. She would have to go head to head and stand her ground. It had to be now. She took a deep breath and faced him. She was ready for combat. This is where she fought back. She let him rush towards her with all his weight as she pushed herself towards him to go face to face. He raised his axe to bury it in her head, but he was misled. She slid under the axe, his swing missing her as she slid onto the floor full of blood, while his momentum propelled him forward into the sharp spikes on the wall, penetrating him through his head, eyes, chest, and arms. His bloodlust got the best of him, leading him to this end. And now our protagonist escapes into the early morning light, beaten, battered, sour, and bruised, but happy she survived the night. This now concludes Poetic Horror Stories 31 Days of Halloween Horror. Spooky season is now over. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all again in our next video.